Hello, welcome to Killing Time. This is the show that searches for entertainment that does not suck. We are finishing up our marathon of episodes that we recorded on June 20th. We're trying to keep all of this information fresh and live and available, so we're doing live hangouts. I am Iyaz, the actor. No, that's not right. Iyaz actor. There's no the involved in my name. With me, as always.
There should be. There should always be a the.
There should be a the. That would be a great middle name for somebody.
I is the actor. Yeah.
The actor. Like, oh, man. When you know you're in trouble when your dad's yelling at you. I is the actor. Like, oh, no. Damn it. With me, as always, is the man who tried to convince me that carburetors evolved into fuel injection, which I found out later was a load of BS. Just Bob.
Hello.
And we're shooting using Google Hangouts. And so if he doesn't say anything again, you don't see him. But he did say hello. So
I did say hello, so you saw me.
He did not try to convince me of that, by the way. It's just a little bit of car knowledge I know. And
speaking of cars, isn't that what you're talking about today?
Today, I would like to talk about Cars 3. Now, again, we search for entertainment that doesn't suck. And if you've seen Cars 2...
Okay. Tell me Cars 3 is better?
Cars 3, not lying, is better than Cars 2.
Okay, but that's not saying much.
Yeah, that's like saying Cars 3 is better than Cars 2. That's not saying anything, honestly. That's just nonsense.
Yeah.
So Cars 2, if you haven't seen it, is one of my son's favorite movies, but also at the time, he was like 5. So if you watch the movie, it makes a lot of sense when you're 5. And I'm pretty sure as it gets older, he will defend the movie until he realizes it sucks. When he does, it's going to be a good day, and I'll record this, and I'll tell everybody about it. Anyway.
Yeah.
Cars 2 kind of has this terrible spy kind of movie motif and essentially makes Mater the main character, which was one of the breakout stars of Cars 1. And I would like everyone watching this to know that in Cars 3, Mater has an extremely diminished role. He appears. He is voiced by Larry the Cable Guy. He appears for a couple of scenes, and then Lightning needs to go train somewhere else. So we don't see Mater very often. We're dealing with basically a new set of characters. If you've seen the trailers for the movie, here's a synopsis. Think Rocky 4, I want to say, or Rocky Balboa. That's one of those. No, not Balboa. He's not retired yet. Basically, Lightning is Rocky. He's not as good as this next generation of super athletes, and he's got to figure it out. So actually, it is Rocky 4.
Well, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, he's got to figure out how to compete. Okay, I see it.
Yes. So you got Drago. So in this movie, Drago is replaced with Jackson Storm. You can tell right there, Jackson Storm is a name that you're thinking, okay, this guy sounds like a bad guy. It's a very sleek car, and there's this new generation of these sleeker vehicles that train in these pristine, beautiful simulations or simulators, and they have trainers. So actually, it is a lot like the Drago scenes. Okay.
Yeah. Where he's in the state of the art gyms, and you got Rocky training in a barn.
Okay, good. And if you've seen the trailers, you know that Lightning actually trains like on the beach. So they're actually, this is pretty close to Rocky 4.
Really close.
So it's going to get a lot closer. So there's a spoiler coming up. So Cars 3 follows Lightning. You see him have this crash. You saw it in the trailer. It looks very traumatic in the trailer. Like
they make it look terrible. Yeah, it's like, are they going to kill this guy?
It looks like he's dying, and you hear him breathing as he's going through the air, just the breath, and you're just like, oh, this is not good.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking kids are going to cry when they see this.
Yeah.
Okay, so wait, I still got, before we get to all the spoiling, decent movie. I bet it looks great on 3D. I might want to see it in 3D if I have to watch it again. Watched it once in 2D. Watched it at Alamo Drafthouse. Alcohol made it better. Yes. Other children don't.
Okay.
Otherwise, very solid movie, good storytelling, good rebound, solid. Where is it in the pantheon of Pixar movies? It's probably on the Cars 1 level of good. Not great, not horrible, but also like, okay.
It could be better, but I can watch it. That's how I felt about Cars 1. Yeah.
Or, I mean, I'm just trying to think. Like Incredibles is better, and I haven't seen Brave, so I can't speak to that. I'm trying to think what else I've seen. Toy Story, maybe like original Toy Story. Toy Story is not as great as 2 or 3, and 3 is just amazing. So
3,
actually, and 2 is amazing, and Up is amazing.
Yeah, both of them, just amazing storytelling on both of those. So yeah, so I could see it's not their best, but it suffers because it's a Pixar movie, and you're trying to compare it to other Pixar movies.
Better than Good Dinosaur. That was a pile of garbage.
Okay, I'll give you that.
All right, this wasn't. So
all right,
now we're going to get into the spoiling areas, and we're already over time on this because I've realized far too much as I'm talking to you live that this is Rocky 4. The only thing is that Jackson Storm is not Russian.
Okay.
All right. During the course of Lightning's training, he eventually goes over to a high-tech training facility, and they're going to train him so he can be as fast as these other guys. Because after he crashes in that very traumatic scene, you know what happens?
No, what happens?
We flash forward to several weeks, I think about 4 months later, and he's in a small town, and he's essentially rebuilt with primer on. It's just gray primer. So he doesn't have his, bells and whistles, red paint, and the lightning bolts, and none of that stuff. But they don't show us at all how he's fixed. We see like ambulances and stuff come by when he's crashed, and they're stopping the race and everything. But there's no, he's on a gurney, so to speak, or if he's being repaired by a doctor or a mechanic, whatever you want to call these things. There's
maybe it would be too traumatic.
I don't know. I mean, that scene is pretty rough, and I guess we just kind of, I believe if you don't have the information as to what happens when there's a horrible injury in an event in a sport, that you might just go, oh, he'll be okay because it's like a video game, I guess.
Right.
But if you watch sports,
doesn't sell it for you.
Because I'm trying to think about this. If this was sports and we're all humans, what level of injury would be something close to this? Because if it's track and you just tumble and fall, you don't break like that.
Yeah.
This would be either MMA and you're breaking a leg, or if this is
football. Football, you a knee when their knee goes, when they're get knocked down, you see the knee twist or something like that, and you go, oh,
yeah. It's like seeing a knee twist and then somebody landing on their head at the same time. Now you're like, okay, something horrible has happened. This is essentially the level to which this injury should be. But maybe it's not as bad as that.
You feel like they didn't sell it. You didn't feel how bad the injury was.
Because they just flash forward quickly to 4 months later, and he's just painted up and is kind of a bum. Not a bum. He's just depressed, which he should be. Yeah. It makes it seem like apparently this is not as traumatic as you think. And is this like falling if you're running track? Maybe. It's just like skinning your knee. I don't know, because there's a whole other thing, and I've been boring people to death outside of this show, and I will do that during the show as I'm doing now. As to the physiology of these things.
Oh yeah, well, there's been a big thing all over the internet about what is the physiology of these cars, what is the deal, what do they eat, what do they breathe, how does that work?
How do they procreate? Because there's baby cars, and do they grow up? If you're riding in the in the tractor, the trailer of the other one, is that part sentient, or is the cab just sentient? It's just pulling this thing. What about the ones that are connected? Just very difficult to understand a lot of this. I believe one of the people related to the whole Cars universe explained in his mind, the cars took over the Earth, and the reason that they have different personalities is they took on the personality of the last person in the car.
Interesting.
So arguably they committed genocide.
Okay, interesting. Great. That's going to be in my nightmares forever. Let's move on.
All right, so Rocky here, he's trying to train again, right? He's back with Lightning. Lightning's training at the Super Rusty's facility, which was bought by this kind of throwaway character. He's bought by there's a team that sponsors Lightning. If you don't know racing, there's always the sponsor stuff. Rusty's is the sponsor. There's a new owner of Rusty's. They take on Lightning. They want to market him like crazy to be like this spokesman for everything. Essentially just buying him for the name, not so much like they think he's going to win. So they bring him with trainers, and they're like, they want him to train on simulators. They want him to train on all the modern stuff, and he just doesn't like it. So he takes the trainers out, and he gets to go to the beach and the dirt tracks and the what turns out to be a demolition derby and all of these crazy, wild things. So it's Rocky punching meat, essentially, right?
Yep.
But he's bringing his trainers along. But eventually you have this idea, pretty simple, that this person he's training with, this person that, well, not person, this car that is his trainer, really wanted to be a race car, not just a trainer. So at this point, you probably know where this movie is going. Any ideas? If I assume, by the way, that you don't mind me spoiling this, and I know you can see where this is going. So tell me, what do you think happens when Lightning, the guy who's no longer as fast as he was, is training with a trainer who always wanted to be a race car? Any ideas?
He turns him into a race car?
Yes, he does.
He does.
Yeah, so what happens is, it is Rocky IV because he becomes the trainer to the trainer. Okay?
The trainer for the trainer. I see.
So trainer 1, whose name escapes me, Cruz. Cruz is a female car. She looks a lot like an Infiniti G35 coupe.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
So good looking car, is a fast car. She's trying to train in the sand. She's not very good at this because she's used to all the high tech stuff. So she learns kind of in reverse. So that's kind of neat. And as they're going on the final race, Lightning gets to go on the race, and he's going to take on Jackson Storm. And Jackson Storm, by the way, played by Armie Hammer, who I don't know from anything, but I love his name because I always think of baking soda.
Yeah.
Armie Hammer plays Jackson Storm so just jerky that I'm one of the few adults in the movie laughing at his lines because he's such a jerk. Because it's really funny that he's just kind of like, he sees Lightning, goes, "It's nice to beat you," and it's just, you hear beat, and Lightning even checks. Lightning checks, and he goes, "Wait, did you say meet or beat?" And he goes, "You know what I said, old." I think it's like old man, old car, and he just goes away. And I just thought this was so funny. Now, granted, every other kid's just like, "Oh, forget this car."
Yeah,
it's like, this is hilarious because finally somebody's giving Lightning some crap. Anyway, so eventually Lightning is going to go on his big race against Jackson Storm. He's racing on the track. At a pit stop, decides that he is going to leave the race and have Cruz sub in. That
you can do that?
See, that's a good question.
See that makes, you know, in NASCAR you can have somebody else jump into the car, but you can't change the car.
The way they pulled this off, they claim that it's not the car that's got to finish. Number 95 does.
Okay.
So I guess in theory, what that would mean is if the car gets destroyed on the track and you rebuilt it based on some of the stuff that was there, even though it's not the same 95, it's 95. This is a bit of a stretch. I'm not really sure.
Okay. So does he need to stop, or is it because he wants this person to get her dream as a racer?
Well, he does have to stop for the pit stop because that's what the car's got to do in general.
No, but I'm saying, does he have to leave the race for a reason?
No. He's just at a pit. He's just at a pit stop, and he realizes that he should be switching out. He has a flashbacks, and he realizes that what's been going on is that he has been training this person or this car for so long. This car deserves to have its moment in the sun. Everyone's telling Cruz, "You're just a trainer. You're just a trainer."
Yeah.
And of course,
he realizes he's the old trainer guy now, and he needs to pass the baton.
Right. So they let her in. She wins. She's fast. It works. And essentially Lightning becomes like Doc, who was his old trainer, and now there's Cruz, and they have
full circle.
New sponsors, and then we can probably have, if you're gonna have a Cars 4, it's really about Cruz having her day as a real racer. It's got some laughs.
We got Rocky becoming the trainer pretty much like he did in Creed.
Well, I mean, doesn't he do that in Rocky 4 with Tommy Gunn?
That's Rocky 5. Yeah.
Oh, Rocky 5. That's Rocky 4 and 5. That's what this is.
Yeah, 4 and 5. Yeah,
4 and 5 combined. It's not okay. It's not as good as Creed. Creed is really good. Yeah, and it's maybe.
We've talked about that. Yeah.
Rocky 5. It might be better than Rocky 5.
Rocky 5 was not a good movie.
I know, I'm not saying much. It's just a little bit better. I gotta say something about this movie, that if you're gonna see this film, if you see it in 4K, if you see it on large screens, a large format, it is just phenomenally beautiful. There are so many scenes where they pull the camera back and it just looks like you're watching real life footage of whatever the heck you're watching. If they're going over bridges, if they're car races, if it's trees, if it's whatever. Good Dinosaur had some hyper realistic looks. This thing upped that even further. So if you're going to watch this and you wear glasses, wear them, because it's just so ridiculously good in its looks. And even though you have these, when you see the cars from far away, they look like normal vehicles. So you have the right lighting and everything. And once you see their eyes, you can have that different feeling about them. But the world they inhabit is crazy real. That, again, it brings you back to the whole, what kind of apocalypse happened that caused all this? Because it's one more thing I got to mention. In the simulations, in these cars, not in these cars, as these cars are on their treadmills and they're being motivated by their trainer, at one point, she fires bugs at them to simulate an actual race, which suggests there are bugs on this earth.
Interesting.
And or that would also imply there were bugs before the cars, because that's how it works. So I don't know if they simulated the bugs when they fired it out the guy, but if it's a simulation, it's supposed to be of something real that does exist there, which means there are other living things on this car's earth, which I think far too much about, because there's way too much time to think about this movie during the movie.
Gotcha. It's got some slow points.
No, it's not that it's slow. It's just, it's a children's movie. And it's just.
Yeah, you're trying to, you're trying to add something to it. I see you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more complex. But then again, Toy Story 3 was technically a children's movie, but that had some serious plot points and character development.
The thing about Toy Story, though, is that they forced you to, like, everyone that watched it as a kid grew up with it. And I don't know if Cars has had that much time to develop where the audience has grown from, I guess, toddler to teenager. If you did that.
No, they really haven't. And it's different because with the Toy Story, you almost feel like you're the kid who grew up with the toys.
Yeah, you're Andy.
It's just Andy. It's just really, they just did a really good job with that, So it's hard to compare that to anything else.
So my main point is, you don't need to watch Cars 3. You can if you want to. If you do,
it's not terrible if you have to.
Oh yeah, it's not bad. Look, there's a lot of other garbage out there. This isn't the garbage. This is way better than Cars 2, as good as Cars 1. It just the look of it, it makes Cars 1 look a little, I don't say childish, just a little raw compared to how good this thing looks. But otherwise, that is the review of Cars 3. Do you have anything you'd like to say about Cars 3?
No, I think you've said it all, and then some.
I've said all the things. And I said at some point I was going to review F for Family. Good season 2. Maybe do an in-depth one of that later. I'm losing my voice now. Okay. We're going to thank
too much.
Paul Dow, Joe Galad, Michelle Sergiu, and Alan Char. And you're like, hey, why? Why are you thanking these people? Are they in the room with you? No, they're not in the room with us, but they are backing us on Patreon. Patreon.com/Iyaz. They help put this show together with us because they are backing us with their hard-earned dollars. Thank you so much for doing that. There's a lot of other supporters out there, but they're actually at the video credit level, so we give them the video credit. So thank you so much for helping us. If you'd like to help out the show, go to patreon.com/Iyaz. You can give $1, give very little, you can send out links. That's fine. And is there anything else we need to say in this marathon day of June 20th?
No, you've done very well. Good job.
On that note, we are getting out of here. So long.